It is daybreak, and the fourth best of 5 of the evening. Spawning to the top right hand corner in green is our Zerg player playing for 1F Academy and the United States. It's Wryza. And to the bottom left, playing the red Protoss for O Gaming TV and France. It's Midastouch. Going for the pylon on the low ground, and probably a pretty early Nexus here. Maybe after Gateway Expand, maybe not. I mean, this is Daybreak, this is a good old Wings of Liberty map. I just can't remember, or I just can't even count anymore how often I planted down the pylon on the low ground going into a Forge. Because back in Wings of Liberty, Forge Fast Expand was just the go-to build in PvZ. Daybreak was still pretty broken for most Protoss, because after Stefano having discovered the 1130 Roach Max, it was hell to play on this map, because every Zerg just took an early third and started massing roaches and then just killed you at 1130 or at 12 once they reached your base and just overwhelmed you. It was really difficult to deal with that. Or if they didn't, they could just go into Broodlord Infestor. That was just an awful... But yeah, it was just the standard opening with a Forge first on this map and then just walling off from there. That's just the typical... That was just the go-to build. I think Naniva was the one who once said in PvZ, Forge Fast Expand or die trying. It was just what you wanted to do. But yeah, since the days of Heart of the Swarm, the Forge Fast Expand has become pretty out of fashion. And in Legacy of the Void now, finally, it's almost not viable anymore, since there are so many possibilities for Zerg to just avoid the wall. And it just doesn't make any sense. You just deny or just delay any tech you want to have. So that's why you don't play Forge Fast Expand anymore and go into Gateway Expand this time around. So Midas already has her Nexus down, same for Wryza. Midas has already checked for a third base somewhere. Okay, Overlord's also getting into position. Wryza just gets the speed and the Baneling Nest as well. Probably just wants to have something against early Adept pressure. But wants to play Ling heavy nevertheless. Maybe even wants to bust through the wall and pulling a full Suno Kazri here. That would also be quite interesting. So another gateway in the making. Mothership Core is already out, getting into position. And also checking for a third base, or just checking the third base, or just checking around anyways, just for any sort of links that could be there. Quite an interesting pattern that she uses there in order to find I don't know what. Actually, I don't think this is for proxies. Well, maybe this is actually really a proxy scout for like proxy hatcheries. So maybe expecting her opponent maybe she actually just... maybe actually Midas just mix these two up, just confuse these two, Wryza and Suno Kazri, and is actually expecting to play against Suno, expecting some sort of proxy hatchery or something. Okay, like I said, pretty interesting movement pattern there for the Mothership Core, just checking everything, even going over here, and in the meantime Wryza taking the unusual third close to the watchtower, not the third tucked in the back. So, ooh, even a sentry tickling an Overlord to death, a very rare sight. So unfortunately for Wryza, she just moved in a little bit too far there. So yeah, Wryza now, yeah, like we said before, I mean, just going for the full Baneling bust, it seems. She hasn't seen all of the other gateways up here, plus the Twilight Council, but it may not even matter. She already has some Banelings in the morphing, and the Mothership Core is totally out of position there, due to that awkward scouting pattern there. So 8 Banelings are quite enough in order to break through this pylon here. This pylon pretty weak together with the Adept, so again, if these Banelings actually blow into this pylon and this Adept, there will be a wide open gap here. Bam! Even empowering one of the gateways. No ways for Midas to actually just wall this off completely. She has to pull all of her workers. Actually does not use... Ooh! Even Potent Bot Wryza just right into the Banelings. 12 workers killed. by this bailing explosion. Wryza now just tearing down all of Midas's forces here, even surrounding the sentry, surrounding the adept, but eventually the mothership core gets back home. Okay, there's a force field, just would actually not deny the entrance, but Wryza just trying to tear down more buildings, getting another probe. 21 probes have been killed so far, a really devastating blow. Midas finally manages to do a full wall off for now. She doesn't want to risk that any more links get inside her base while she tries to build up. So Wryza just keeps sending more and more links over here. Don't know if this is actually the best idea. I mean, of course, if you hit your opponent as hard as you did, you just smell the blood in the water and you really want to finish your opponent off. But yeah, the wall is closed. We have a lot of sentries, so even if Wryza manages to break through, the sentries will just throw force fields, and you won't really be able to do any more damage here, with the mothership core out shooting, well, ping-pong balls from above, and but having the photon overcharge available as well, you will just lose more and more resources to that, and you don't really need to do that. I mean, after killing 20, what was it? 21 workers, you're so far ahead actually, even getting whatever that was over here and killing it, so no problem whatsoever. Okay, Midas just gets in a scouting hallucination, but that's all she does, and yeah, you could just easily sit on your 3 bases, tech up. I mean, your opponent is so far behind, no need to waste more resources into Zerglings here. I mean, of course, you want to check for a 3rd base, but she does that with the Overlords anyways. Yeah, she actually is great Overlord scouting here. Just maybe... whoa, fantastic. I mean, this is just great. A map vision here by Wryza. And like I said, I mean, she just wants to really make this happen right now. And this might be actually the biggest blunder you can do as a Zerg player, being too impatient. Impatience is usually what kills a lot of Zerg players when they have actually already won. So Midas, doing the good old standard day 9 house rule, when behind Dark Shrine, and she might actually be able to pull something off. I mean, Wryza even going into a 4th base, pretty greedy here. But the biggest problem is... oh, she does have a lair. Never mind. But no detection around whatsoever. Does she have an overseer? Not yet. 49 workers to 48. I mean, the income is still looking better for Wryza because she's sitting on 3 bases, using a better saturation here. So Midas just moves in with the observers, sees that there's no Spore Crawler here. We'll probably even check for the other bases here. And now, of course, after Wryza sacrificed so many units over here, Midas will finally be able to take a 3rd base. Ugh. This, of course, is something that Wryza really didn't want to happen. It's still kind of okay. I mean, she's getting a 4th base behind it. The only thing she needs to worry about now are the Dark Templars, and there they are, just having to walk across the map completely because there was no Warp Prism out or no Proxy Pylon whatsoever. So, let's see how this is actually going to work. And more units for Midas actually even crossing the map. And the Wryza just having small chunks of links around. So there are the DTs, now moving in. No one has seen them yet, and there's no Overseer out. She can morph one in, and it doesn't even take that much time. But in the meantime, wow, I think these might actually kill more than 21. Might even actually get a new record here, it seems. Okay, 4th base is going to die as well. More units moving over here. I think that was just the stupid AI. But here, Wryza just trying to move in, trying to kill everything off with the Zerglings here. Oh, even has some Hyras in position as well. So these Hyras actually doing quite some work. Even getting the mothership core, so no recall possible for Midastouch. Seems as if Midas just wants to retreat once more. Yeah, the DT is still doing the dirty work. Okay, finally DTs over in the 3rd base get cleared, but there's still the main base DT, so Midas just moves in once more. 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and if you want to count with me, you can do so now. Nice little surround here by Wryza though, still not getting the Immortals, bruising them pretty hard, but yeah, that was actually it. Even stealing the gas here, also quite nice move. Now getting towards the attack, and Wryza finally just gets her army back in order to kill this DT off. But yeah, these 3 DTs were worth their money and more, no problem whatsoever. Yeah, and now we have the problematic situation. Now we actually have a 3-base Zerg against a 3-base Protoss, but with only 60 to 50 drones. Actually, good droning back up by Wryza there. I mean, she had to She had to remake more than 30 drones here in order to just get back into the game. But taking 4th immediately, which is just the best thing she can do. But she also needs to get into better tech, and morphing 20 Zerglings is not really helpful at all. Of course, she wants to have some sort of small army, just in case that her opponent is going to push her once more. But Midas is already adjusted to her opponent's composition, so has a lot of Zealots in here. Also have the Colossus around. She saw that there were Lings and Hydras mostly. Okay, another DT just walking across the map, trying to make its way into somewhere where it can deal some more damage. And we still don't have a Spore Crawler down here, or at any base actually. There goes, no, the Spire goes down, not much more. Okay, DT over here, harassing the 4th. We'll just get most of the army out of position, probably. So, oh no, actually this Dark Templar just ran right into the Hydra force. So yeah, this time around the DTs shouldn't be able to deal that much damage, but it could have been worse. Still, Midas is up 50 supply, that's almost telling the tale. But the only thing speaking for Wryza is just her tech. She's getting into a Spire. If she actually manages, I mean, Midas does not know that yet. She might be able to just see something with the Observer. It also depends on where the rally point is. So, okay, now the Observer actually gets killed, so nice denying over here. There's another Observer tucked back here, so if Midas actually realizes that she has that one, she might be able to scout the Spire a little bit early on. But she doesn't have, like, any anti-air whatsoever. I mean, this we've actually seen quite some time, that Midas's compositions tend to be weak against air. So yeah, I mean, she only has a few Stalkers around, so if like a big bunch of Mutas suddenly moves in, this could be really devastating to her army, or just swing back the tide in favor of Wryza. Biggest problem right now is, of course, that Midas actually managed to deal a lot of damage with the Dark Templars, so she doesn't really have the resources in order to produce a lot of Hydra, a lot of Mutas. Yeah, and the other biggest problem is, of course, that all the other units she keeps producing are just plain out bad against everything that Midas has. I mean, yeah, Banelings crushing into Zealots might be quite nice, but the Colossi will probably just keep that from, or just keep that from happening. Hydras are bad against Colossi and against Speedlots. Lings are bad against Speedlots and Colossi. So really not that much that can be done. So Midas now warping in a few more Dark Templars even. Wryza might have seen the Warp Prism move out with the Overlords, but of course there's always a question of if you were looking at the map at that moment in time. So now she will realize that her hatchery is getting attacked! Does not cancel it in time. So again, 300 minerals down the drain. Unfortunately for her, she has a lot of minerals and gas banked up. I'm really wondering where the Mutas are. I mean, now she even sees the complete collection of army units of Midas. And I mean, this must have... No! Not 7 Hydralisks! Wryza, what are you doing? No! I mean, oh, this really... I don't know. Oh, damn, what a shame. I mean, like I said, she just saw the complete collection of army units, seeing everything. Colossi, Zealots, Immortals, and only 4 Stalkers. And she had like 1,000 banked up or something, so she could have just easily produced like a hell of a lot of Mutalisks. Don't know why she did it, or why she didn't do it. And now the army walks across, and the only thing that Wryza has are squishy Hydralisks, and squishy Zerglings, and squishy Banelings. So it's probably going to make squish, and everything is dead once the army engagement happens, and I don't really know why Midas is not engaging. But this is something I have been wondering about quite some time. Midas really playing it safe to a point where it almost hurts. Where you sometimes really think, man, just woman up and kill the opponent. But she just walks back once more, wants to wait a few more minutes until the upgrades have finished, wants to wait a little bit more until the fleet beacon is finished. It's almost like watching somebody play Civilization, where the player just doesn't want to end right now. You just want to do one more turn, you just want to wait for one more thing to happen before you finally engage. And then that one thing happens and you realize, I just have these other 2 things going as well, I'll just wait for them as well. And then once these 2 things happen, well, these two other things are almost just shortly before happening, so I'll just wait a little bit more. And that's actually just what Midas does, clumping up her ball. And I mean, again, she also, with the Dark Templar, she just sees the complete army composition. She should just immediately realize, okay, this is what you have. It's like 40 Hydras. Well, come here, little girl. Come here and let me kill you. That's just what she should say in her head right now. Well, maybe not the direct words, but that's just what should be going up. But retreating again a little bit, doesn't want to go into creep, just lets her DT get killed. I mean, this is Hydras and Lings. I mean, well, what else do you want? I mean, you can't really get a better army composition than that. So, also getting into carriers right now, yeah, but that should be just the final engagement. I mean, these Banelings don't even hit anything because the Colossi just turn off everything. Okay, and now she's just actually waited too long. And there are the Corruptors. Wryza just finally managed actually to get up some Corruptors. And the Corruptors can actually just never get shot down because they are the first few Stalkers now finally moving in. Okay, just getting these Stalkers in right in the nick of time. So Wryza just has to retreat with her Corruptors. Might just eventually even save that game by going into Broodlords. Okay, it seems as if Wryza just wanted to go into Mass Lurkers, but it just didn't eventually work out. And like I said, I still think that a good meter transition would have just killed off her opponent easily. But yeah, it's always easy to say that once you're the observer and see everything and get the information. But then again, Wryza actually got all the information and she just had the resources free, lying around, doing nothing. So yeah, whatever. I mean, that's sometimes the problem with tunnel visioning. Tunnel visioning. So there we have it. Tunnel visioning, when you just have a plan and you just want to go through with it no matter what, because it's just what you wanted to do. And it's sometimes hard to be flexible in a game like StarCraft, where automatisms and reflexes are so important. And yeah, reflexes are trained. You just do what you trained yourself to do, and you answer in a way you trained yourself to answer by doing your automatism. So sometimes it just comes back to haunt you. And again, yeah, I don't really see Wryza taking this game. I mean, her upgrades are great. Don't get me wrong. And her macro is also pretty good. I mean, look at the creep spread is also pretty good. She's looking okay. And she just doesn't get any damage done. And the biggest problem is that she just doesn't get any high tier units that can take on this force in the long run. Especially if she grants Midastouch more time, trades off units, and Midas just replaces all of them with carriers. And Wryza just gives her enough time again to get all the carriers? I don't know. So second Spire actually getting up, so she really wants to get the upgrades for the Corruptors, it seems. Also getting some Vipers here will probably just make them eat something in order to get the energy up. And then I'm really curious what she wants to do then. Maybe just abducting the Colossi and maybe even the carriers into her Hydras might be a good idea. So there's the army already moving in, and at the same time she just tries to take a base over here as well. So again, Midas just bit by bit moving forward a little bit, killing off things that she can easily kill off without getting too much into trouble. So nice little run by there by Wryza, I like it, but there's actually a unit in place, so the Adapt just keeping most of these Lings out, but yeah, still okay, Wryza just moving in the Lings. Should have probably just walked over here trying to kill some probes over here, but yeah, now she does. There's the cannons around as well. Move command here, just not really making them attack, but there's the hold command, and actually 6, 7 probes, 9 probes, 10 probes actually going down. Wow, even more, 12, 14. Wow, that was a successful run by 16 workers died, nice. But at the same time, Midas just moves forward into the third base, what was originally the third base of Wryza, and unfortunately the units are out of position completely. There the Corruptors now moving in, so let's see if they can actually deal the damage, but they are just on move command flying by, getting killed. Actually a few of them already getting killed before they can finally deal some damage. There are the Vipers hanging around, but the Vipers not doing anything. She has enough energy for a duck, but a duck not really doing the damage. I think she should just use the Blinding Cloud on these Stalkers at least, in order to keep the Corruptors alive. But yeah, there's just too much anti-air now with the Corruptors, the carriers, the Stalkers, and actually nothing to actually attack the Stalkers underneath the units. Wryza taps out, and Midas takes the first map. It's Habitation Station again. Habitation Station. So, spawning to the top left-hand side in green, we have Wryza. And to the top right, we have Midastouch. And yeah, English native speakers, I know that in native English it's pronounced Midastouch. But our player is French. And in a lot of European countries, including Germany and France, Midas is actually pronounced Midas. It's true, I know, it's strange, but it's true. So, Midas, a short form of her name, actually wants to be pronounced like that. It's Midastouch. Yeah, it's not correct after all rules following standard English, but it's still okay. It's a name, guys and girls, and names sometimes get pronounced weirdly. And you never really know how a name is pronounced unless you heard it being pronounced. That's the stupid thing about English language. So, Wryza actually being quick enough with her drone in order to block the base over here. Will now just move around a little bit. I think actually she could have just straight up fought against the probe, because usually a drone wins against a probe in a 1v1 fight. But there's the second probe already pulled by. Midas will maybe get a probe kill. Yes! Okay, there it is. First kill on the probe. So a little bit of an unnecessary loss here. But Wryza going for the gold cheese as well. Again, just pulling a full Suno here. Suno Kazri, are you still in the chat? Did you actually just practice with Wryza a lot? Because her playstyle just mimics your awkwardly. So I don't really know. If she builds a proxy hatch in the on the third map, I'm calling bullshit. We'll just see what's going to happen. But yeah, this is pretty odd here. So, wall off of some sort by Midastouch here. Has already seen that there was a gold base being taken, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, she knows about all the 3 bases, especially about the gold one. So Wryza should actually just transfer her drones a little bit late here. Timing could be a little bit better. So, let's see, there's also an Overlord in position, so she might actually just go into some sort of Nidus play, which would be awesome. I would just love to see it, that would just be great. And that's, like I said before in one of the other games, that's why you don't play Forge Fast Expand anymore, because it's so easy for Zerg to avoid them, the wall if they want to. And what you need then are movable units, you need mobile units. Oh, actually units, because they are mobile and they are not static defense. Because static defense at the wrong place just doesn't help you at all. Okay, now she just moves in with the Overlord, gives it away, just wants to use it for scouting. Sad. I'm really a little bit sad. I think a good Ling rush with a Nidus Worm would have been just great. Getting a Nidus up here and then just getting 20-30 Lings inside the main base would have probably just easily killed Midas. So let's see what she's up then. I mean, she has a lot of resources banked up early on, or she actually has the potential to gather a lot of minerals early on, a lot quicker than her opponent. Well, not a lot quicker, but quite quicker. So, getting into lair. Actually, interesting choice, taking the lair in the natural base. A lot of players actually do this, so they won't lose the base to harassment. Or won't lose the lair to harassment. And can actually just strengthen her front as well, because this building just takes more shots before it gets killed. So, Spore Crawler this time going down. Okay, Mothership Core just moving around, scouting for whatever. Don't really know what this is actually scouting. Maybe this is just a typical pattern by Midas, scouting for proxies, even against a race that doesn't usually proxy. And you have actually already seen that it's not a proxy hatch because you already know that it's 3 bases. I don't know. I mean, this is quite an odd routine. It's probably doing its purpose, whatever the purpose is, but I can't really tell for sure. Okay, Spore Crawler over here. Mothership Core has to be careful to move out. Spore Crawler has quite a decent range here, but the Mothership Core just manages to get out eventually. So Wryza with the early Overload speed. That's something we've seen her doing quite often. In the meantime, we have, it looks as if Midas just wants to go into some sort of adapt pressure push with Immortals maybe, or just a reinforcing Warp Prism, or maybe just some Warp Prism Adept Harassment. We'll see what's going to happen. In the meantime, she takes the gold base herself, which is actually quite far away from the rest of the bases, so always a bit difficult to defend. I mean, if Wryza actually had committed into a lot of links, she could just easily tear this down. No problem whatsoever. So that's why most Protoss actually just want to tuck back and take this base or the third base. I mean, yeah, your opponent has the gold base, so maybe you want it too. But in this case, Wryza has had the gold base for quite some time, so it won't really help you that much taking the gold of your own. But it's pretty far away and not as easy it's not as easy to defend as a base down here that's pretty close to your natural. So, well, I mean, if Wryza, of course, does not attack, it doesn't really matter, but Midas now scouting with the Hallucination. Hydro then already done for Wryza. Now going for a Nidus network, but Midas saw it. Well, at least she flew over it. Flies over it once again. Wants to see what that is. She should now know that this is a Nidus network, and we might even see her just moving around with something and maybe bringing some light into the dark edges of her base. Yeah, there the observer already flies towards the dark edge, and there are also some pylons now going down. Yeah, wants to get some vision. Okay, there we have the Lings now finally moving in, only a few of them. Pretty late for Lings, actually. So don't really know if the speed was actually worth it, but of course it was also something she wanted to do, just in case her opponent would come across the map and try to attack her. So Midas just easily clears off the Lings, no problem, with the help of her forces over here. The Adepts even have the glaive speed, so they just dish out more damage against light than usual. So this also helps. Wryza going into 4th base after realizing that her opponent has taken the gold base. Now flies in, just gets the Changeling plus the invincible Nidus Worm, as long as it spawns. There's no way to just get it. So Midas already fires up the Pylon Overcharge, maybe of the Photon Overcharge, maybe a little bit too early. But yeah, now she just has it here, wants to take out the Nidus Worm before it can just spew out too many units, and gets it. So no harm done over here. Wryza could just, of course, try it again in just a few seconds. And she will, it seems. Just wants to get it in once more, but Midas already sees what's going on. Okay, and now this time around, a nice move there. Yeah, actually that's of course good play there. She just realizes that she can now just always... I mean, she could actually just put down one here at the same time. Don't really know why she doesn't do it. You don't really have to wait. If you have the resources, you can just throw down one here as well. And then you can just decide where you want to put it out. But that was, of course, a nice move, because now, of course, the army units of Protoss just have to move around completely in order to get this. And like I said, this would just be huge. Having a Nidus Worm over here as well, just loading in everything and then just unloading it inside the main base once more. You could just... I mean, what does the Protoss want to do? I mean, Photon Overcharge doesn't last forever, and the energy doesn't last forever as well. So you could just jump around bases, getting in here, killing something off, making the army moving around completely. Wow, that would have been disastrous, but unfortunately Wryza didn't do it. So I can just hype up a situation that never actually happened. So yeah, Lings itself won't do anything against this kind of army position, especially not since there are Colossus in the mix. So no 4th base for Midastouch yet, but Wryza is below 100 army supply, lost all of her army with that sneaky little Nidus Worm attack over here. So Midas just wants to get some more buildings into this area. Overlord gets hunted down, and now Midas will take a 4th. So maybe Wryza guesses that something that has happened because the Overlord got taken out. But maybe she doesn't expect her opponent to take a 4th by now. So, I mean, she doesn't have her 4th base fully saturated. Should maybe just get some more drones out, but she does so. And no one even gets a Roach Warren. Okay, although the mid game is almost over. But she just wants to have some meat in the army. Yeah, again, she just moved into a lot of Hydras, and Hydras now being pretty worthless against the composition that Midas has. Midas even going into Templar Archive, will probably even get Storm, and there's another Nidus Worm over here. The army is quite out of position, and it seems as if Midas has actually not realized what's going on, does not see the green dot. Now she does, and moves the army forwards. So yeah, she also has a Mothership Core in place. Okay, she was, never mind. she saw it, she was just waiting for the photon overcharge to clear the area. And this time around she does it. So there's the other Nidus Worm going down inside the main base. No more energy for photon overcharge here. So it's only 1-2 zealots and the rest of the army just has to make its way up here completely. But yeah, once it pops, the army just arrives, kills it off, and nothing more that Wryza can do. So unfortunately, again, a lot of resources wasted. Still was a nice effort and a nice try, but didn't work out eventually for her. So, nice little pylon chain here by Midastouch, just covering a lot of important spaces and granting you the possibility to just warp in units if need be. I mean, even if you get the slow warp in, doesn't really matter. If you want to warp in like 5 to 6 zealots for harassment, it doesn't really matter if it takes only 2 seconds or 10 seconds for them to warp in, so never mind. Okay, army just getting bigger and bigger. Midas just again waiting for the max supply, waiting for some upgrades. Actually, upgrades are pretty good for Wryza here. But yeah, they are just on the wrong units, I feel, unfortunately. So, again, this army still... I mean, now we have some more beef in the army with the roaches. And we also have some strong damage dealers with the hydras. But still, I mean, this army is still pretty squishy against what Midas has here. I mean, the zealots, the speedlots will just tuck back the roaches and the hydras, while the 5 colossus will fire from behind. Okay, not the ravagers, the lurkers are actually the only really good thing inside the armor of Wryza, I feel. I mean, if she actually manages to, like, yeah, actually the lurkers could deal some damage. If Wryza manages to just take out the observers, or the one observer with the Hydralisks. Is there actually an observer in here? But it's of course a tough sniping. Right now there's actually not even an observer inside Midas' army. So yeah, a lurker push could actually deal some damage, but Wryza's not doing anything of that kind. So there are more links. Maybe she wants to rush into the gold base, but there's not much damage she can deal there. I mean, there's 2 photon cannons here, even with, well, maybe getting the links into here. No, just wants to take out that photon cannon. Might even not get it. Oh, just barely not, because the zealots just take out everything beforehand. Okay, now finally the army is moving out. Ooh, has to be careful. Most of the... Oh, unfortunately, all of the units already get killed almost before they can burrow. And it seems as if with the splash damage even, not even... Is there an observer? I think there even wasn't an observer, but the splash damage just killed the units. Yes, they did. Whoa, how unfortunate was that? So Midas actually didn't even have an observer, but since all of the units were standing on top of the Ravagers, the splash damage of the Colossus lasers just actually killed the units beneath them. So, ooh, how very unfortunate. Yeah, I think this shouldn't work out as well. There's now cannons in place. We also have the Stalkers in place. So another Nidus Worm attempt, but it's already been figured out. Midas has already moved her Stalkers in place. We'll just start shooting at the Nidus Worm right as it gets out and kills it. Easy peasy. No problem there. And now she again just went into Carriers, wants to play it the safe way. Okay, nice there. Wryza just again moving in from the backside here. Okay, Midas actually might be able to get up, snipe that Overlord there, so no further units. Okay, has to be careful now, because now she hasn't really started shooting at the Nidus Worm, and the Nidus Worm will now unload. So nice move there by Wryza. This time around it works quite nicely here for the overcharge, but it doesn't really matter because the units are out of range. And now, of course, the army is totally out of position. What does Midas do here? Moves back with all of her army, but the army gets clumped up behind these colossi, so this actually takes even a little bit longer. At the same time, we have Wryza killing off the 5th base down here, and actually dealing quite some damage inside the main base. Has to be careful to retreat right in the nick of time before losing too many of her army units. But that was actually quite a successful attack here, an attack that Wryza desperately needed to get herself back into the game. Unfortunately for her, she didn't really kill any important tech structures. I mean, the Nexus was already worthless, because the minerals had already been mined out, so more links just running in, but they're the Carriers just dealing with them, as well as the photon cannons, and now we even have some Archons in the mix. Yeah, and the biggest problem is still that Wryza's army is just not up to the task. I mean, it's 14 minutes, and she hasn't even invested into any kind of serious tier 3 tech. I mean, she has the possibility to get tier 3, but the Spire is just building, 2 at a time actually. It's, wow, it's still quite some time until Broodlords. No Ultralisk Cavern here as well. I think even Ultralisks might work kinda okay-ish in a good number until the carriers actually get up a good count. But yeah, I mean, I think the units she wants to have most right now are the Corruptors. And that's actually what she wants to go to, I think. And then some units on the ground. So maybe she hopes for good snipes with the Corruptors on the Colossi and maybe on the carriers. And then just killing everything on the ground with her Roaches and Hydras. Okay, getting a Nidus Worm down here just as a reinforcement measure is also a nice move, I feel. She can always just move in and move out quite quickly, but of course, yeah, the Nidus Worm just takes some time, and the army was not too far away, and again, just gets killed off before it can actually unload. So, yeah, again, Wryza just keeping her opponent busy, getting more and more bases. It's actually good stuff, but I just feel like her late game plan is having some problems. I mean, her upgrades are great. In a lot of parts, she's just playing an awesome game. But then in other parts, like I said, it seems as if she doesn't really have a well fleshed out plan for the late game. So, I mean, you can just see it. I mean, just have a look at all the techie units here. We have Archons, we have Colossi, we have Carriers. All of these are tier 3, heavy tier 3, very gas heavy, with a lot of firepower and damage potential. And Wryza, I mean, what does Wryza have? The only, I mean, she doesn't even have a tier 3 unit. Corruptors are tier 2. And so are Roaches and Hydras. I mean, she's mostly on lair tech. Yeah, on lair tech. She has the hive tech, but she doesn't really use it. So, and this should probably be like the final engagement. Okay, Wryza's army just dies in almost an instant. The rest of the army units just move in here. Yeah, it seems as if Wryza just wanted to deal some damage to the economy of Midas, but at that point in time it didn't even matter, and the wrong bases were attacked as well. Now she just got herself tucked into a position where she can't escape, and everything just gets killed off. And again, we can just wonder what Midas is actually waiting for. 3-3 is through. She has a lot of bases. She has the superior army. She's just killed off like a big chunk of Wryza's army that has just went down to 73 supply, and it's mostly Corruptors, so actually nothing really to shoot the things on the ground. Yeah, nothing. It's just Corruptors. That's just it. So she can actually just maybe, and I think she won't even be able to do that. It's 5 carriers. No way. No way, I feel. I mean, maybe she gets the 5 carriers, but I wouldn't be certain about it. Okay, she can actually kill off buildings by pissing on them. That's something she can do, that's right. And actually pretty quickly, I mean, have a look at these Corruptors. Once they really start pissing on buildings, they vanish in an instant. So, but yeah, I mean, now she just has to retreat, even losing some Corruptors in the process, it seems. And then she has nothing to shoot ground. I mean, there are Archons, they can just park underneath the Corruptors and kill them off once they clump up. And even DT's now in the mix, doing some harassment, for now only in one base, maybe later on in the other bases. But yeah, the only thing that Midas really needs to do is just finally move in and deal the killing blow. I mean, she's so far ahead already in army supply and everything. And again, yeah, of course, it's easier to say that if you are the observer, but it's also a sign of a good player to realize when you're far ahead and when you can just move in and deal the killing blow. And that's something we've criticized again and again about Midas's play. The killer instinct sometimes seems to be missing a little bit. You know, she's still winning games and doing greatly. I mean, just macroing up, defending against everything. And even having, like, the hallucinated Colossi in the mix as well. So there they are. Yeah, the hallucinated Colossi are just great. I mean, the Corruptors might actually even attack the wrong thing, but she just tries to get that. And then GG. And Midas takes the second map as well. Welcome to Echo. The third map of this best of 5. Spawning to the bottom right hand corner in red. It's Midastouch. And to the top left in green we have Wryza. So it works, whatever it is, but they were probably talking about something in between games. We can't really tell what it was right now. Seems as if Wryza forgot her Overlord and had to use the extractor trick in order to get one more drone out, because she usually doesn't use it. So I think it was kind of a little micro mistake. So, there's the gateway. Okay, yeah, that's typical on Echo. It's a small ramp towards your natural base, so you can easily wall off. So that's why most players want to expand pretty quickly and use the first pylon on the low ground in order to get the wall up as soon as possible. Wryza goes into a hatch first. Typical bread and butter build for Zerg, with the extractor afterwards and the pool after that. Yeah, unfortunately for Zerg players, you can't really go into 3 hatches before pool anymore, because then any kind of early harassment will usually just kill you. Be it Reapers, be it Adepts, be it Marines, it just doesn't matter. You usually just get killed in an instant. Be it, yeah, or Zerglings, of course, in ZvZ. You can't just do it. But yeah, Reapers will just easily deal magnificent amount of damage if you just don't have a spawning pool out early on, and thus be able to produce queens and lings and all the good stuff. It will just make defending against the early harassment opportunities or the early harassment options of your opponent almost impossible if your opponent knows what he or she is doing. So, in the meantime, second gas being taken after the... Oh, well, actually, no, there's the Cybernetics core, I was already wondering. Yeah, after the Cybernetics core being planted down, just good old usual stuff. We have the Nexus going up. You'll probably see a unit getting warped in. Yeah, it seems as if Midas actually just wants to wait for... doesn't really feel all too worried about that drone here. So, wants to wait for the Cybernetics core to finish so she can build an Adept and send it into the gap. Does not want to waste money on the Zealot. So, drone just moving around, sees everything, just might want to get into a good position for later on. Does she want to build? No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. And she does. In sight? Like in plain sight? Suno! What the hell? Is Suno still in chat? I'd really like to hear your opinion. I was just saying in the second game that if Wryza was to build a proxy hatchery, that I would be calling bullshit. What the hell is going on? I mean, did Wryza actually practice with Suno? I mean, pulling all the Suno Kazri tactics here. So, okay, Midas just plants down a pylon over here, gets the mothership core back. Will be able to just activate Photon Overcharge actually twice maybe at that point. So let's see if she will be able, yeah, if, or maybe Wryza just wants to be annoying, just wants to force some drones to get pulled away from something, I don't know. Lynx rushing across the map, they won't really deal that much damage since the entrance is blocked. And it seems, no, she can't really let that finish, can she? I mean, that would be really a waste of resources here. No, she doesn't. Okay, good use here. Just dealt some indirect damage. Her opponent had to build pylons at a point in time where she didn't really want to build them. She had to get her mothership core back. She had to pull 4 workers from the mineral line. All in all, it might have worked out. I mean, these pylons are not totally useless. She can still use it later, but of course she didn't really want to use them at that point in time. Wryza even trying to be more annoying, getting that extractor over here and making her opponent killing it before she will be able to use it. At the same time, she gets a third base of her own, but of course pretty late. So I don't feel that this was really worth it. I mean, like I said, it might have just evened out at best. But yeah, denying her own third base for so long in the meantime, don't really think it was worth it. So we'll see in the long run how everything's going to work out. So Gas Geyser is free again and gets taken by an assimilator. Now Midas also just taking her own third base. Does not really know anything about Wryza's base. Just whatever information she got from the first scout. So let's see. Not much to see so far. I mean, Midas has also not decided what tech to go to. She has a robotics facility and now produces the first Immortal. Quite interesting. While Wryza just goes for early Burrow and Roaches. That could be an interesting play here. So if she makes good use of the Burrow Road to Roaches, she might actually be able to deal quite some damage there. but there's an overseer, an observer already in the mix, so maybe not. Okay, base is done. She now starts saturating the base, but so does Midas. Midas already sending some probes across the map for long distance mining because her own bases are already saturated, so no real need to let these workers mine there, and once this base finishes they will automatically start using the better route, the shorter route. So, Midas already having 58 workers to 43. Yeah, that hatchery inside the main base plus the late hatchery at the third just cost a lot of resources, and Wryza now going for the big attack. She needs to make tremendous damage happening with this. I mean, yeah, this actually, I think she really needs to take down that third at least. And or just dealing a lot of damage inside the natural base, which might actually be the better choice. Okay, now moves in from the right hand side. Nice there, just distracting most of Midas's units in order to get over the right hand side on the flank, but the mothership core is still there, and the pylons shoot down everything, so Midas not really falling for the trick. Setting down the pylons here to help out with photon overcharge once more. The unit just retreating backwards to the ramp. Nice little corrosive bile here, but Midas just moves out of the bile. It's just at the last second, losing the immortal though anyways. And yeah, still a strong push by Wryza though. Forces all of the units back into the natural base. So now the third base over here is pretty much defenseless for quite some time, until the force fields expire and the units of Midas can again just move out. Is Midas rallying more units across the map? Not yet. She's producing 8 roaches. And wow, now even some links come in, getting most of these stalkers. So if Wryza just manages to get everything killed over here, like I said, I mean, she needs to deal tremendous amounts of damage, and thus far she has succeeded in doing so. I mean, not killing the base over here yet, but mostly just killing all the mining from there, which is always a good thing to do. So Midas actually down to 80 supply here, has just lost a lot of workers. It's now 44 to 44, so pretty even, but Wryza just losing all of her units over here. I wanted to sneak out with the burrowed roaches, but the observer was in place. So I don't know. I think it's kinda even from here on out. Okay, never mind. It's lair time only at 8 minutes. Okay, so never mind. No. Wryza unfortunately is still behind. She just, yeah, needed to deal, like I said, tremendous amounts of damage in order to even things up, but she's still on 44 workers to 53. Just having produced another army over here, might just barely be able to deal some more damage, but already sees with the 2 immortals around, plus the stalkers, and the pylons almost finished. She just realizes she needs to retreat for now. Okay, we'll just now take her sweet time in order to clear this debris, and then might want to go into the third base once more. It's her best option. She still needs to deal more and more damage. Actually, I mean, almost all the damage she's dealt has been denied, has been just made up for already. So Dark Shrine incoming again for Midas. Hydralisk then once more coming in for Wryza. And again, it seems as if she just opts for a composition that works in the mid game, but just doesn't work in the late game. But she just gets it too late. So Midas already going again into Colossus. Wryza just tries to make some damage happen, just tries to kill off whatever she can. Should have maybe just went with the pylons and then moved out. But here she cannot fight this army head on. No way. She just... Okay, this is just a small chunk fit. So nice little move in here, just getting a few more units, but has to be careful to retreat once it's necessary. The army units are almost quicker than her own, so always has to be careful. So nice little run by there in the meantime by Wryza with some links, killing off the workers she needed to kill off. And now again they're quite even in workers, but like I said, I mean, that's just almost anything that's going for her. Wryza finally managed to get into lair tech, might even get the Dark Shrine. If it just takes much longer. I don't know where the warpins are, maybe no warpins available. Okay, Midas just comes back with the mothership core, will probably just photon overcharge here and will just barely save the Dark Shrine. Wow, that was actually pretty close. I mean, Dark Shrine down to 162 health. So, seems as if with a distraction, she hopes to get into the third base once more, but the main army is still here, and this army cannot beat this main army, especially not at a choke point. No way. I mean, there's only one Colossus? Yeah, just one Colossus, okay, but still, like I said, in a concave, no way that this army will beat this one. So, Wryza again just has to move out and is investing more and more resources into army units that are actually already out of use. I mean... I don't like it that much. Okay, still another run by. Has already seen that there's no fourth base up while taking her own force. That's actually a good thing going for her. But she really needs to invest something into high attack, I feel. If she just keeps on staying on lair attack for too long, then this army will again, like in the other games, overwhelm her eventually. We've seen it twice. Wryza saw it twice. So she should know what's happening, and that she needs to transition out of this Roach Hydra composition way earlier. Way earlier. It just won't succeed anymore. I mean, she might be able to deal some damage here or there if her opponent is not paying attention or out of position by luck. Or maybe even, okay, out of position because she just managed to lure her out of position. But yeah, this is just a terrible engagement here. And Wryza can actually not even escape because it seems as if her units are still late. Does she not even... No! She engaged before the Hydra speed and is now going to lose all of her important... and actually the Hydras were the best unit in her army. The most expensive army unit, and maybe this time around Midas just realizes that her opponent has just lost all of her army, sees that there's a new base over here, will just walk in and kill it, no problem, and maybe then just even move forwards towards the entrance between... No, probably not. I would have guessed that. I mean, it's Midas. We don't want to joke around. We know she just kills off stuff and then retreats. I mean, it's like I said, there's nothing to say against it. It's the safe route. It's the safe way to do it. Never overcommit. Take an advantage and then lead back and get more ahead. Even, I mean, being tucked back in that position, that's like as death-bally as you can get. Just getting very close into this position. Okay, morphing some Archons, maybe this time around. Okay, now I think she feels comfortable. She has, I mean, she's really set up for all eventualities. It doesn't matter if your opponent has, I mean, she must know that her opponent cannot have Broodlords out or Ultras or anything like that, so lurkers would actually be the most annoying thing she could expect right now. Yeah, and Wryza realizes I cannot fight this army. GG's out, and Midas takes the third game for a 3-0 victory.